Well, hello everyone. Today we're rejoicing over the election. Christians are taking a stand, and this nation chose life once again. And all we can say today is to God be the glory. However, the enemy never sleeps, and we must not rest until he is decimated. Since the election, President Obama is planning to contract 34 million ID cards and workers' visas. He is threatening our Congress to give him the Senate amnesty bill in the next few weeks, comprehensive amnesty for the illegals in this country, or he will issue an executive order to give amnesty to millions of illegals in this nation. And he is going to disperse ID cards and workers' visas. This has never gotten the attention of the leadership in the Congress, neither party or the Senate, and they have not asked what we must do to expose the invasion of Mideast Muslims that are planted all over this country in every state, or the 60,000 victims of human traffickers and drug cartels. The only thing is that the president has just said that he is going to bring an amnesty for millions in this country, and it has not gotten anybody's attention. 34 million. President Obama just left China, where he issued visas. I read one report that over 1 million visas to bring communist Chinese into our country to add to the flood of Mideast Muslims and 60,000 invaders from Guatemala or South America. I just want to remind you today, my viewers, that I love so much. So many of you are picking up the phone, are joining me, writing me letters. More men than women are saying, Faye, I'm going to stand with you. Couples are saying, Faye, we can't sit any longer. We are going to stand with you. To God be the glory. Our forefathers gave us the answer for tyranny. And it's going to take Christians to rise and call for justice to save this nation. I don't want you to go away. Call your friends and tell them Faye is on. It's time once again to pull down the strongholds over America. I'm Faye Hardin, and this is Well, welcome back. I just want you to know that my partners and intercessors are some of the most informed, professional, united, and focused intercessors in this nation. They are true watchmen. They work hand in hand with me, and one of our most powerful teams is in Hobbs, New Mexico, led by Dolores Ayers, who is a co-pastor with her husband, Pastor John Ayers, and they meet on Monday night with members of their church, which is the church at Hobbs. And if you live in that area, I'd like for you to contact Pastor Ayers and visit their church. If you would like to join Dolores' prayer team, you can contact our office and we will give you the information to do that. 407-265-0700 and press 2. Dolores is the one that sent me this email, and I just knew I had to share it today on our program because it says it all. Tuesday, November 11th, 2014, your prophet time of accountability. This was written, this was emailed by Bill Wilson to Dolores, and she just forwarded me the email. And this is what he said. The day after the election, I suggested that Americans need to put accountability teams together in every political district to hold those who were elected accountable to those who elected them. As a demonstration, I emailed each member of the elected Republican leadership in Congress and the Senate, reminding them that Americans did not elect them to find common ground with the president, but rather to repeal bad policy in his government. I also heard back from one of them, and it was a form letter thanking me for my support. This is why we each need to hold accountable those for whom we voted. We cannot say we have done our job and now let the hirelings handle the rest. The enemy remains at the gate. CNS News reported the day after the election that Senators Cory Gardner, a Republican from Colorado, David Perdue, Republican Georgia, John Ernst, Republican Iowa, and Thorne Tillis, Republican North Carolina, Tom Cotton, Republican Arkansas, James Langford, Republican Oklahoma, Steve Daines, Republican Montana, Mike Rounds, Republican South Dakota, Shelley Moore, Capito, Republican West Virginia, and Ben Sasse, Republican Nebraska, all ran on a platform of repealing Obamacare. Yet, within hours, leader Mitch McConnell, who is expected to be the elected as the Senate Majority Leader, signaled that he wanted to find common ground with the president. He's been doing that for 6 years. House Speaker John Boehner said, "My job is to listen to the American public, and they've made it clear that they don't want anything but for us to repeal Obamacare." And in the next sentence, he said he wanted to repeal parts of the socialist law. So which is it, Mr. Speaker? We said that we don't want socialist health care. On the same day, you said that Americans have made it clear that we don't want it, that your job is to listen to the American people, and that you wanted to repeal parts of the socialist health care. If you had 3 sides to your mouth, you would be talking from each side. In part, applaud what you are saying. I applaud what you are saying, but I won't believe you until you do it. As a bar keeps sun, you should know quite well the old saying, talk is cheap. It takes money to buy whiskey. The Bible says in James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And now many may think that I am being harsh, but this is just one small example of how these people do business. Take heed. The senators and representatives that were voted in because we the people are rejecting the president's agenda and the Democrat Party's agenda, the agenda of death. And I input this agenda of death because that's exactly what we have seen. This is not a Republican mandate. It is a change mandate. We the people are rebuilding our nation, and as in Nehemiah 4:16 and 17, and it came to pass that the time, from that time forth, that the half of my servants wrought in the work, and the other half of them held both the spears, the shields, and the bows. And the rulers were behind all of the house of Judah. They were builded on the wall, and they bear burdens with those that laded everyone with one of his hands wrought in the work, and with the other hand held a weapon. We must watch over those we elected as we rebuild. form accountability teams among friends, hold these politicians accountable, and have a blessed day. Bill Wilson. I'll be right back with more information.
Visit Faye's website, insightUSA.tv, for information that keeps Christians enlightened and informed. Enter your email address and receive Faye's e-action alerts. Like Faye on Facebook at Facebook/FayeUSA and Twitter #FayeUSA. This broadcast streams online at insightUSA.tv.
Well, we only have a few weeks before Congress takes another extended vacation. They work 113 days a year and only have to work approximately 675 days to receive pensions with full pay for life and tax-funded health care. They pay little to nothing into these pensions, and the taxpayers pick up all of this bill. I think we should ask them to go on part-time pay with no benefits, since they do not average 30 hours per week. Even though America has spoken loud and clear, the Republican leadership has stood in lockstep with Harry Reid for 6 years, and they challenged Senator Ted Cruz whenever he was exposing their allegiance to Harry Reid. And they blacklisted him because he was telling us the truth. Right now, Mitch McConnell and John Boehner are suggesting that they pass this year, before the end of the year, to give Obama carte blanche spending for another year. The federal agencies would be funded. They want to continue to fund climate change in the billions of dollars. Look for a moment where they have spent $3 trillion this year, and that they took in, and another $4 trillion that they borrowed. My friends, these agencies are a gateway to America's demise. I just want to give you some of the facts right after this message, and I want you to help me let the Republican leadership know that we will not have another year to have America's government overthrown and funded because the Republican leadership gives them that pass. Well, this is the time for the ingathering, and I'm believing for you to have a marvelous harvest. I've asked 20 of my television viewers to send a check to help us with this ministry for $1,000. Have a special gift package for you, but we want to take this message to the nation. Will you today say, Faye, I believe in what you're doing. I believe we can win this war against Christianity in this nation, and also we will not choose Allah's flag to hang over our White House. We need to get our message out. Today, will you sit down and write a check for $1,000 or more and say, Faye, I want you to stay in the fight. I want the truth to go forth, and I'm not going to look at you anymore, but I'm going to walk with you. I believe that there's someone who could give $100,000. Will you do it today? In gathering. That's what it's about. Before we get into our facts, I just want to take a quick moment and show you that our Jerusalem calendar is a big hit. We want to give this to you for a donation, along with the pocket-sized Constitution and the Founder's Bible. We know that you do not have the information concerning our Christian foundation, but nobody has reported it like the Founder's Bible and David Barton. And if we do not get the funds to pay our television time from our television viewers, we are going to start cutting networks. That doesn't mean we won't be on somewhere, but if by now we do not have a viewer participation, then we're going to be looking to take our program where it will be received. Right now, I need 20 people that'll write a check for $1,000 right now. The donations are always low during the holiday season, and it was very low in July. But I've got people watching our program that you need to give. You need to sow your seed in a ministry that is total truth, based on the Word of God, defending this nation according to the Word of God and our foundation. So today I want you to sit down. I had a lady that the other day, she wrote me a note and had a check for $1,000. And she said, my banker told me not to do this, but the Lord told me to do it. And she's one of our Virginia partners. And you know, you're not going to be able to go anywhere in God until you learn to sow. And you don't throw your money into ministries. You don't scatter it. You sow it. And our partners are being blessed insurmountable. But we not only need to have our television audience support this television ministry on your station, we need to go further. And I know that God spoke to me a couple of months ago that there was somebody he was dealing with to send us $100,000. We actually need, in order to hit the airways the way we need to do it and get the truth and straighten out all the propaganda, the rhetoric, the hot air, and the bureaucracy that's bringing our lives under submission to a foreign religion and a foreign government. We cannot tolerate it anymore. You can say, Faye, I can't give you $1,000, but I can send this much. I will be a partner. Whatever God uses you to do. But if you're that person, I know God's speaking to people. And if you have really been blessed of the Lord and you're hoarding more than you need, we need to bring our nation back. Not only that, we need to be supporting prayer ministries, especially in our nation's capital. I want to start a foundation and undergird prayer ministries and this prayer ministries teams, so that our teams can begin to launch out onto the college universities, take the Founder's Bible, give it to college students, take the Constitution, give it to college students, and let them know that this is from a television ministry that's named Insight. We're never going to combat the devil until we go after our families and our nation the way the devil's representatives go after them. So today I want you to say, Faye, I am going to stand up and stand with you. And not just one time, but we need monthly partners. Every month the bills come due. And just to barely make it, we just can't do it anymore. So today, go to your phone, go to my website, insightUSA.us, make that donation, or just write a check and mail it to the address on the screen. Call me if you want more information. And if you'd like to have a rally in your city, I would love to come. If you'd like to have a home meeting with just Eagles, I do more over dinners with specific people who really want to know the truth and want to stand with the truth and not get tricked by giving to frivolous ministries. I just can't wait to hear from you. So we're going to go back because I'm going to show you what we are up against, and this is why we need to increase our TV time. We need to increase our production time. We need to increase our partners, friends, and intercessors, and we need to do it now. If you'd like to help me start a foundation just to undergird prayer ministries. When you go to Washington, D.C. and you see the Muslims shutting down the streets to pray, you see their prayer rooms in our nation's capital, you see wash basins put in airports, and they have no problems with funding. And all they do is call to God, to Allah, and say, Allah, He is God. Man, we have a God to talk to. We have someone that hears and understands what we're saying. And it's time for these ministries to be funded. Our foundation, it will begin at the first of next year. And this is all we're going to do. We're going to stand with prayer ministries who are standing in solidarity for America's deliverance, for our youth's deliverance, for our colleges and high schools, our kids' minds' deliverance. That's all we're going to do. You can give your money to missions all over the world, and if God's telling you to do it, do it. But I tell you, we've got the greatest mission field in the world right here in our inner cities. They don't know God. They don't know about God. They don't know about our foundation, that it's a Christian heritage. Islam is moving in like a tornado, and we had better raise up a standard against it. I can't wait to hear from you. And I want to go back to what we're dealing with now, with what is happening after the people spoke, after we chose life. We have to ask, number one, who is funding the massive invasion of this nation? Where are the funds coming from? The next thing, where are these 34 million foreigners that are here unlawfully? Where are they? And this is where they are. But do the governors know or have any idea who the Homeland Security has dumped in their states? I just want to show you. This is my packet. I'm working on it now. I finally got all of the information alphabetized state by state. This is where refugee concentration camps are in America. State by state, there are millions of Middle East Muslims that have been brought here in secret, planted in camps, subsidized by Health and Human Services, who has $700 billion, and one woman oversees it. One woman has $700 billion at her discretion, that this should be going to the states. This woman has no business telling every governor in the United States, every elected legislator in the United States, what to do in order to get a few pennies of the tax dollars that should go to them individually first, but in conjunction with Homeland Security. We need our governors to go, and I have the addresses, and I'm going to be faxing our governors and asking them to go in the crevices where these people have been brought here and distributed under the auspices of the United Nations. Whether the Somalians go to one state, whether the Iraqis go to this state, where the Syrians are going to this state. And in this shows you the list of terrorist organizations by our State Department. We need for our governors to know who has been dumped in their states, and if they are filled with sleeper cells. If this is where the jihadists have been brought here with our tax dollars under the direction of the Homeland Security Director, who is pro-Islam, pro-Muslim Brotherhood, which is also on the terrorist list. What we have to recognize and what we have to contend with, it is a crime, according to the Constitution, to aid and abet an enemy of America. The crime actually is treason. Will you help me get this information out? Will you ask for it? And you'll have to pay for the copies and the distribution, but we need to go find the jihadists before they find us. Well, we're in the midst of high holy days, whether it's for the Gentile calendar or the Hebrew calendar, and I have a special gift I want my viewers to get. It's the Jerusalem 2015 wall calendar with all of the dates of the Jewish holidays. I'm also putting a list of the Jewish holidays with it, and a book that you will never put down, The Wisdom in the Hebrew Months. I cannot put it down. The months, the constellations, the letters, the tribes, and the message. For those who will become partners with me, please call 407-265-0700 and say, Faye, I'm going to pledge $500 or more if you just want the calendar, $100 or more, but partner with me. Help me get this message out. You need to know the signs and the seasons. Well, we're going to close the program with me literally asking you to get the information that I have been able to accumulate. I have a packet of this year's updates. It literally is a summary of what God has led us, both politically, spiritually, biblically, and prayerfully, that's literally brought down the enemy's camp in this country, and our intercessors mean business. If you have not gotten or are not getting our Faye's Facts, and you want one that's very, very informative, the October 13th Faye's Facts, Our Constitution Prohibits a Centralized Government. This is one of the most informative Faye's Facts that we have. It shows how Islam has moved in the back door and literally is bringing this nation under submission to Allah through political pundits. We cannot have it. That's how communism took over Russia. Russia was not always a communist nation. Little by little, people who did not believe in God, they were atheists, who wanted to rule out Christianity, needed the power of politics and their government to do it. Nothing is different today. So please get this, and you will see it's bipartisan and it's only the facts. Don't be afraid. Also, my packet, for any donation, say, Faye, I want the packet, the summary, and it'll take you days to read, and you'll be astounded at what you read, but get it immediately. Also, our constitutions. We give pocket-sized constitutions for those that would request them. So all you have to do is give us a call and say, I would like a constitution or several, and churches will supply them to you. I need your financial support, and you need to plant your seed in this nation's deliverance. If you want to know where 34 million foreigners are in this country, and we don't know if sleeper cells are there, they didn't have any ID, and also the 60,000 of the victims of the human traffickers and drug cartels that came over our southern border, facilitated by the Homeland Security Director, Jay Johnson, they have been distributed other places. Keep in mind, all of this invasion has happened. Not one new school, not one new policeman, not one new hospital, not one new teacher, not any plans, but to overwhelm this nation and take us down. Don't let them do it. I look forward to hearing from you.
Faye wants to hear from you. Her desire to see America come out of exile is raising up one of the most powerful, informed, anointed, and united prayer networks in America for America. She is organizing Christians for the U.S. Constitution to give uncompromising believers back their voice and witness. If this program has blessed you and you believe in what Faye is doing, contact her, pray with and for her, partner with her. She would love for you to host an Insight rally in your church or city. Organize an Intercessors with Insight prayer team or join one. For a complimentary pocket-sized constitution or Faye's Facts, call or email Faye 407-265-0700 or faye.usainsight@gmail.com. Write Insight USA, P.O. Box 917689, Longwood, Florida 32791.